So, at the risk of cliche, let's call a spade a spade. We'll talk more about China as we go. But look now at their long game strategy. In addition to building floating islands in the South China Sea which can be used as military platforms, and buying up ports all over the world, the Chinese have gone into third world countries and built infrastructure, loaned them money, and put them so far into debt to China that they can never repay it. China isn't doing this because they are good old boys. They are using debt traps as part of a geopolitical plan to create vassal states, and America is definitely on their to-do list. One approach has been to co-opt Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa, an alliance known as BRICS, with the idea that they will eradicate Western hegemony. Here's an observation. The Democrats have for recent years been pushing us farther and farther into debt, and China owns a considerable amount of it. Over $1 trillion worth. So far, Obama, a Democrat and the most liberal and unimpressive senator in Congress before becoming president, almost single-handedly doubled our national debt. Biden is pulling the noose even tighter with his multi-trillion-dollar reckless and irresponsible printing and spending. Interestingly, China is one of the largest holders of American debt, and Biden is trying to spend more every day. Apart from taxation, the only way the government receives money, it either has to borrow it or print it. The Democrats certainly can't pursue their agenda with the main source of income they have, our tax dollars. Print more and make the value of the dollar compromised, or borrow it and go deeper in debt. Either way, China wins. We get further in debt to China or the dollar becomes virtually worthless. Don't forget these dots that need to be connected. Biden's son does business with and receives huge sums of money from China which he shares with the whole family. Also very telling is that his, Hunter Biden's, laptop showed emails in which he has to hold out certain monetary sums for the big guy, and Hunter's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, has gone on record to say the big guy is Joe Biden, depending on the source of money. If that doesn't hint at bribery, what does? After all, does it really matter if a bribe is first handed by the briber to somebody who hands it to somebody who eventually gives it to the target of the briber? If a bribe is handed to James Biden, who gives it to Hunter Biden, who gives the big guy, Joe Biden, his share, isn't that what the law calls subterfuge? Further, especially if not specifically, the $100 trillion so-called Green New Deal would send us over the financial cliff, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat socialist, Ilhan Omar, a former Somalian and current America/Israel hater, Rashida Tlaib, of Palestinian ethnicity, and the rest of the members of this squad push the Green New Deal like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. In typical Democrat strategy, they depend on keeping the sheep scared by saying the earth will end in less than 10 years if we don't do what they suggest. I.e., spend trillions of dollars to retool every building in America to run on wind and solar. Are they actually convinced of that? Or is somebody else paying them to say it? Regardless, if we continue borrowing from China, is that what Biden meant when he said China believes it will own us within 15 years? By continuing our unrestrained spending and borrowing, that could be passable. China has used debt traps on other countries. So why not America? Does any American look forward to serving Chinese masters? The abolition of Christianity by communist mandate, the abandonment of our constitutional rights by tyrannical government, along with hard-won freedoms paid for by the blood of patriots, or the abolishing of private ownership of land and businesses? In addition, if Biden and the Marxists put us so far into debt we can't get out, would we be able to defend Taiwan if China finally attacks them to reunify them with the mainland? Is that part of their long-term strategy, or the strategic games they're playing? Yes, to all of the above. Go to YouTube sometime and in the search bar type in Woke Inc. The author of a book by that title decided to run for president in 2024, although he doesn't have a snowball's chance. But he does have several interviews which reveal his research conclusions on how the CCP uses the woke ideology as a tool against America to keep us divided and to denigrate and demoralize us. Many of our biggest corporations that want access to Chinese markets are being extorted into creating a constant barrage of criticism of America before the CCP will allow them to do business in China. That America is a horrible place is as much a claim for the benefit of the CCP's own people as it is a part of the plan to divide Americans. This strategy is well demonstrated. It's clear and unmistakable all over the country, and especially in the mainstream media. Even our own political leaders engage in America bashing. To quote Chinese General Sun Tzu, victorious warriors win first and then go to war. Perhaps even more demonstrative about China's approach to their economic war against America is Sun Tzu's comment: "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Is that part of a coordinated plan to bankrupt us? So we have no resources to protect ourselves or our allies? Here's an interesting sidebar. A typical totalitarian government like China is terrified by the possibility that its own people might criticize them, challenge their authority, and openly rebel, so they do not allow it and suppress dissent with all the might they possess. Is that why they demand that anybody who wants access to China's markets must be willing to criticize America, because in their mindset, our political elite likely fear it, too? It's just a thought. As it happens, China's leaders are preparing their country for war in the way military forces should be trained. But we are now teaching our troops about critical race theory, indoctrinating them about the use of pronouns, and thinning out the ranks of soldiers who refuse the COVID vax, demoralizing the troops, and threatening unit cohesiveness by Barack Obama's edict to end the ban on homosexuals serving openly in the military, putting mentally confused transgenders in the ranks, putting women in special ops, and any other social engineering that weakens American military readiness. Obama was at one time accused of being a homosexual by Larry Sinclair, who testified under oath that he'd had a homosexual encounter with Obama when Barack was a state senator in Illinois, ergo the special favors done for the rainbow people during Obama's presidency. To put a finer point on it, Obama confessed to a former girlfriend in a handwritten letter that he fantasied about having sex with men. So perhaps Joan Rivers got it right when she called him out as gay. Look for the purpose of presenting this info in a book, The Naked Communist, which we mentioned above, and we will discuss more below. But the communist plan to turn America into a secular socialist nation, which was revealed in that book, says present homosexuality is normal, natural, and healthy.